Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm covering an OBGYN's favorite places to go for information on puberty and sex for when you're talking with your kids. Just kidding. It doesn't need to be scary, and after you watch this, it won't be. All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Dr. Jennifer Lincoln. I'm a board-certified OBGYN. I use social media to bust myths and educate and empower, and I'm a mom of 2 boys. So this topic is near and dear to my heart. I'm also talking about it right now because May is Talking is Power Month, and that is a hashtag Talking is Power. That Power to Decide, one of my favorite websites, and I'll be covering them here, is putting out there to help us as adults know that talking is power when it comes to sex, puberty, consent, all that stuff. And it's not a one and done conversation. There's lots of conversations we need to have. The problem is that you don't always know where to go for good information. And the talk, which isn't really one conversation, like I said, it can feel overwhelming. You're worried about messing up, about not answering your kid the way that they need best. And so instead of reinventing the wheel, I've got a bunch of resources. They're all going to be linked in the show notes, places that I think are great. There's a lot of garbage out there on the internet, but there's also some really good information. But it can be hard to know what's good and what's not so good. So today, I've got your back. First one I'm going to talk about is Girlology. I'll preface it that just before the pandemic hit, I signed on to work with Girlology to be one of their girlologists, which meant that I was going to teach puberty and sex ed classes. And then the pandemic happened, and I haven't been able to do it. Yes, I'm technically affiliated with them, but I'm not getting paid for any of this, and I just think they're awesome. Girlology was founded by 2 physicians, one an OBGYN and one a pediatrician, so you know that they're a good evidence-based source. So their website has tons of great content. They used to run live puberty programs, and I'm sure we'll get back to that, but they've pivoted now with the pandemic. And I want to talk about this one called The Ultimate Field Guide to Puberty. So the target for this one is girls and people with vaginas and their trusted adult. So maybe a parent, but it could also be a teacher, an aunt, whoever. It runs for 90 minutes total, but you can totally go through it at your own pace. And what I love about it is that it talks about puberty, and it just puts everything out there, and it helps to create these conversations. And they also have handouts that go with it. They also have virtual seminars if you'd like more of an interactive experience. It's not just for the girls. It's called Girlology and GYNology. And so they've got a bunch of different virtual topics, and you can find a date that works for you. So they have Girlology puberty, they have GYNology puberty, they have the science of reproduction, so that's more about where babies come from, so maybe after the puberty talk. And it's just awesome because you can just go on, watch this with your kid, and just get the conversation going. If you want an on-demand program like the Puberty on-demand program for girls, but you want it for your son, then check out Prepare Him with GYNology. They have it's a $24.99, just the Facts Puberty program, and you go through it at your own pace. If you're somebody who wants more, an actual book, and that can be a nice way to say, hey, I bought you this book, I'm going to leave it here, maybe you can take a look at it, and let me know when you have questions, or I'll circle back in a week. That can be a really effective way to have the puberty sex conversation, and Girlology has 2 of those books. I have both of them. The first one is called Girlology, There's Something New About You, and I have listed all the books that I'm mentioning here will be linked in the show notes, and you can purchase them through my Amazon affiliates page. I do get commission, but I donate all of it to charity. And the second book for guys, it's called GYNology, just the facts, because that's all you need. Next up, I want to talk about Power to Decide, which is the organization that I talked about that has the Talking is Power campaign going on right now. If you follow me on my social media, you've definitely seen it there. They are great to follow on social media, but I also love their website because they have their own resources and toolkits, and then they also link to others. And again, there's so much stuff out there that's so terrible when it comes to education that it's really helpful that if it's on their website, it's got the stamp of approval. So this is on the Power to Decide Talking is Power website. You've got their toolkit and resources, tons of good stuff. They have talking prompts. They have ways to not make it feel so scary. And if you're interested, head to their Facebook page where I just did a live where I was able to talk to some other sex educators. It was moderated by Ms. Magazine, and we talked about what good comprehensive sex education is, what it isn't, and how do we get there. So if you want, you can watch it there. The third website that I really like is called Outspoken Education. And what I love about this website is they have their content organized by topic and then also by age, because maybe sometimes you want to go to either one and you want to know, okay, my 4-year-old, what should I be ready to handle? Or, oh gosh, my child asked about pornography. What do I do about that? And yes, you do need to cover that. So here's an example of what you'll see on their website when it comes to topics. And some of them may feel really uncomfortable, like I'm not prepared to talk about it. And that's why you go here and you get prepared, because your kids are going to ask. And even if they don't ask, we need to cover it, because how do we expect them to be well-informed adults who know how their bodies work? This is how you do it. They've got top tips so you can see by age. You can go through and see what might be appropriate for your kids' ages. You can teach your kids phrases, because we know that when we do this, kids who are more informed about how their body works and the anatomical names of things and how to say no, they're less likely to be abused and they're more likely to speak up. And as a parent, you may not want to think about it, but you need to. The fourth website that I'm recommending is called VagEsteem. And as a gynecologist, any pun that uses the word vag in there, I just love it. So this company was founded by Vanessa Giffard, who's an amazing sex educator. And what I love about her website is that she is there for you as an adult and also for young people. So if you are, you want to become a sex educator and you want to be able to do it the right way, she's got courses for that. She's also got courses for teaching kids sex education. And what I really like is that as a Black woman, she understands how important it is to be seen and to be taught from people who look like you and have the same cultural background as you. So she's got this one course and it's free. It's called Sex Ed for Black Girls and Femmes, Relationships 101. And it's important that we have resources for everybody out there, not just from people who look like me. So head to her website and also follow her on social media for more. Last but definitely not least is Sex Positive Families. This is an amazing website. They've got an amazing book and their social media is also where it's at. I love following them on Instagram. I love what they say here. It's time for the talks. Because we know it's not just a one and done talk, right? We've gotten that so far. And so they've got workshops on consent, on sexuality, puberty, tackling porn. Yes, you're going to have to do it. And how to raise sexually healthy kids. I love that. They even have private coaching. So if you feel like you want your hand held, and that's okay if you do, they offer that for you. And if you're a book person, they've got you covered. Sex Positive Talks to Have with Kids. I just think it's great to have these kind of resources available. So those are 5 resources that I have for talking about puberty and sex with your kids. And I'm sure there are many more out there. If you know of some that are good, or you wonder if maybe I think they're good or not, drop your questions in the comments and we can talk about it more. I'm sure there'll be a part 2 to this at some point. As always, references and resources are in the show notes. I love these websites, so please bookmark them and share them. And go ahead and follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok. I talk so much more about this. And I think it's really important that we fill in the gaps that is sex education in the United States, because we don't do a good job of it. And we know that teens and young people are looking to us and they're listening even if they seem like they're not. Thank you all so much for following along. Please go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and stay safe out there, friends. Bye-bye.